Again, welcome to Bear Valley in the heart of Kern County. This is also the heart of our beetle kill, our tree mortality here in Kern County, and that's why we chose this setting today. But I want to start with the color of the fire trucks and the firefighters behind us, the uniforms, because wildfire in California is a cooperative effort. No one stands alone is our theme, because it takes everybody to move up and down the state to control and manage these huge wildland fires. There's several different jurisdictions, land ownership. The United States Forest Service owns our forest lands, the National Park Service. We have the Bureau of Land Management, CAL FIRE, local government fire departments, Office of Emergency Services coordinates local government fire departments. It's truly a team effort. And when a fire occurs anywhere in the state, fire trucks from all these different agencies, hand crews, helicopters, air tankers, bulldozers, they all start moving north and south. It's truly a team effort, and that's why we're here today. And when you listen to the director of CAL FIRE and the director of Fire and Aviation for the U.S. Forest Service speak, it's a team effort. I want everybody to remember that. So yesterday I stood before the board, 2 days ago, before the Board of Supervisors, and we declared fire season in California, or in Kern County, and Wildfire Awareness Week. But fire season in California never starts because it never ends. Last Sunday we had a 90-acre wildland fire in Kern County. It never ends. And I get asked all the time, Chief, you have a crystal ball, can you tell us how the fire season's going to be? And I don't think you can ask the experts that are behind me about fire season in California, because it never ends. Even though we had an El Nino pattern through California this year, we actually did have above average rainfall in a lot of our areas. The drought just makes the wildland fires worse. Those trees are not recovering. The rain also causes the grass to grow. The mountains this year are nice and green, but they'll be turning brown. In the last few years, they've just been dirt. So now we actually have vegetation on the ground, which contributes to wildland fires. Their spread makes them burn hotter. It's a more receptive fuel bed. The tree mortality. California is never really out of fire season. And even when it's raining or snowing in our communities that are in the wildland areas, that's when we want our citizens out there doing their hazard reduction, their defensible space. As I said, it's a partnership between all these agencies, but it's a partnership between these agencies and our citizens, because we can't do it alone. We don't have enough fire trucks. We don't have enough air tankers. We don't have enough bulldozers to protect every house in California. And if you looked at this morning's news, there's a fire burning in Canada right now that's burning whole communities down. They're evacuating whole communities and they're burning down. That's why we need the help of our citizens, and that's why we have Wildfire Awareness Week. We want to make sure our citizens are educated on how to protect their home, defensible space, removing the pine needles from their rooftops, moving their firewood away from their house. All of those things that allow us to protect multiple houses when wildland fires are racing through our communities. It truly is a partnership. And we need everybody's help. We need people to report fires when they first see them. Support suspicious activity. Because if we can jump on a wildfire quickly, we can contain it. And I can tell you, and my partners behind me can tell you, that when these wildland fires get established, and they're burning day after day. The taxpayers, all of us, are spending over $1 million a day to contain these fires. And that's just to contain them. That's not to rebuild the homes, to rebuild the power lines that are destroyed. The vegetation's gone. Tourism often leaves our communities when they're burned out. Air pollution. Air pollution in California is one of our top priorities. And when you have a wildland fire that burns for 30 days, we all suffer. Again, thank you for being here today. This is so important that we get this message out, that the partnership between our communities and our cooperating agencies that fight these fires are just so important. Thank you.
Chief Marshall teed it up very, very well. The conditions we're facing, Kern County, multiply that times the entire state. The conditions, we've just come through the 2015 fire season with two of the top 10 most devastating fires in the state's history, the Valley Fire in Lake County and the Butte Fire in Amador and Calaveras counties. Multiple fatalities, civilian fatalities on both of those fires, and over 70,000 acres burned on each, and significant property and infrastructure loss. Those are the fires of the present and the fires of the future. California has had a long history of large and damaging fires. Now exacerbated by 5 years of drought, changing climatic conditions that are only making weather conditions and vegetative conditions more conducive to fire. We're going into 2016 with very much that on our mind, and the fire behavior that we experienced last year. And it's unfortunate. It's not just the firefight, as you just heard. A great deal of effort going on to remove these millions of dead and dying trees from insect mortality, and the unfortunate loss today of the logger's life. There are right now over 29 million insect-killed trees, essentially from Kern County north into Tuolumne County in the Central Sierra. As we warm up into the spring and summer months, the bark beetles will continue to emerge and multiply, and we anticipate continued spread of the tree mortality. Despite winter rains, as Chief Marshall talked about, this is only adding to the additional fuel loading with this additional tree mortality. And much of the state didn't receive the significant precipitation. Generally south of Sacramento, Southern California is still continuing to be in deficits in terms of moisture. So we're gearing up from the state side, and we have a responsibility as CAL FIRE to have this responsibility for over 31 million acres of state responsibility area lands, almost entirely private watershed lands and individual ownerships across the state. We're geared up again this year with significant augmentations of resources to support the firefight on those lands and to support our partners that are behind me. We have additional firefighters that we'll be bringing online this year, additional large air tankers and helicopters at the peak of fire season, particularly in the Central Coast and Central Sierra. And we've also brought on 400 firefighters in early March. Those firefighters trained and prepared for fire season, and now they've been engaged for the last 3 or 4 weeks or more in doing fire prevention fuels management work, much like what's going on right here in Kern County is going on in many areas of the state, including the Central and Southern Sierra. Firefighters have been out chipping, burning piles, clearing brush, working with private property owners on providing information on how the property owners can provide their defensible space inspection, and ensuring that everybody has the tools and the resources they need to prepare as we go into, again, what's anticipated to be the potential for another devastating fire season. Chief Marshall pointed it out, and pointed out very clearly, we're doing our part. The governor has established a task force made up of over 80 different organizations to address tree mortality and to coordinate those efforts with our local partners on the ground. State's bringing resources, it's purchased equipment. We've redirected state fire prevention funds, about $1.7 million, to the 6 most impacted counties, including Kern County, for projects to address fuels reduction and the impacts of tree mortality. Efforts have been coordinated with our state and local partners and federal partners to try to leverage every opportunity that we have to try to mitigate the life hazards posed by the tree mortality. But as Chief Marshall said, we cannot do it alone. Our expectation is that every homeowner, every property owner engages in providing what they need to do to protect their property before the fire occurs. And it's as simple as ready, set, go. If you go to the website Ready for Wildfire, that will take you to many links that provide all of the landowners tools that are necessary to help protect your property. Ready, set, go is a key, again, to look at again this year. And it's just that. All the things Chief Marshall talked about: defensible space, preparing your property, address marking, having a solid and practiced evacuation plan, and identifying all of the items you're going to take with you ahead of time before the fire starts. And then lastly, and quite frankly, this year in many of these communities, the most important piece is go. Because what we found in both of the devastating fires last year, 5 hours, the Valley Fire burned over 15,000 acres. Just in 5 hours, burned right into communities, hundreds of homes. There is little or no time to evacuate residents in these communities. This needs to be something where, as we get into fire season, you are thinking about it every day, so that when there's smoke in the air, you're prepared to go and everyone can get out ahead of the fire so that firefighters can get in and help protect your home. So again, ready, set, go. Website Ready for Wildfire. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Kern County and CAL FIRE, for having the Forest Service a part of the Wildfire Awareness Week. This is our third year in a row that we have traveled the state of California together, helping spread the message about fire preparedness in the state of California. We just came from an amazing site up north, up near the Sierra National Forest, and I was riding this pretty big high of happy emotions as we came down in a plane to get here. And it's interesting how that can switch so quickly, knowing that we just had a fatality of a person, a human life, this morning at this site working on the tree mortality issue. The emotions just zapped out of me coming from there to here. Because when we were just at that last site, and all for the last many months, we've been talking about tree mortality and safety in California. We have 29 million dead trees, 29 million dead trees more this year than we had last year. And so as I look at all the firefighters behind me, the ones that are running those chainsaws, cutting the trees down around the power lines, evacuations route, into helping make areas safe, I always think about what's going to happen when we lose a life. And it doesn't matter, as we've heard, it doesn't matter if it's a blue colored uniform or a green uniform or a contractor or someone to come help our communities. It just tugs at my emotions when I see that. So 2015 was a busy fire season. You've heard Chief Penlock speak about that and Chief Marshall. The Forest Service, we were prepared for our fire season as we went through 15 and into 16. And the fire season doesn't stop. We still need more moisture and more help down here in Southern California and Kern County area. We know that. So that's why we're here for the week, to just let the public know that we're doing all that we can, bringing people on early, hiring more people, getting the woods, the National Forest ready for if and when we have a wildland fire that comes into the forest or the communities. And so we need the people to be just as prepared. How many of you out there have your bags packed in case a wildland fire comes to your house? I see a couple hands. That's good. And it comes to the houses of the worker bee people too. The problem we always see is we try to get the word out in California. If not when, if not where, are you prepared to go? So with that, the last thing that I'd like to say is that the relationship building between all the agencies is one of the most important things as we move into the 2016 fire season, 2017 fire season. Continue to build our relationships before the fire comes to your community. Thank you.
I've learned in my 3.5 years of being on this board one thing from the chief, one thing more than anything else, that wildfire preparedness and fire management is a team sport. It's not about the fire chief. It's not about CAL FIRE. It's not about INYO. It's not about the state. It's about us. We have the opportunity to have the greatest impact on preserving our own property if we listen to what the knowledge and the wisdom that these guys are trying to share with us, and we take it for real. We pack our bags. We create defensible fire zones are on our communities, are on our homes, if we do the common sense things that will protect and preserve our property, we'll be much better off for it. So ready, set, go. Thank you very much for everybody for being here, and let's go get them. Thank you.